Good morning, I'm Glenn Chase, Divisional Merchandise Manager for Electronics, and welcome to the Fall 1987 Sight and Sound video. Our November Sight and Sound sale is the most important electronics event of the year. It's therefore essential that the entire organization understands what needs to be done to guarantee our success, from the merchandising division to the distribution centers, right to the store organization. This year's Fall Sight and Sound sale will be a one-week event as compared to 2 weeks last year. Now, being 100% prepared is therefore even more important than ever, because if we're not ready on November 15th, we won't have the luxury of catching up during the second week of the event, because there is no second week. Let's take a minute to review how the November Sight and Sound sale comes together each year. First, I allocate ad space to each buyer based on what they had last year, along with current trends and our strategic direction to exploit targeted growth categories. Next, the buyers and assistant buyers determine what items will run and at what prices. Now, it's their responsibility to make sure that the mix is right to achieve their sales and gross margin plans. Due to the nature and importance of this event, we try to offer the very best values of the year to create even more excitement for our customers. I will then meet with the buyers and assistants and challenge the items to guarantee we're topical, competitive, realistic in our forecasts, and are hitting the key items and classifications. At the end of this process, we must go back and re-review our sales and margins to assure that the plan will be met or exceeded. I will then review the entire event with Paul McCormick for final approval. Now, only by involving the entire electronics, merchandising, and distribution divisions can we hope to achieve the synergy to present a cohesive, dynamic event. In the next phase, the buyers, assistants, and distributors meet to iron out any disagreements on how many units each item will sell. The distributors will then allocate merchandise to your stores based on past performances, current trends, and inventory on hand. Now, those last three words play a vital role in determining how many units of each item are sent to your store. If the stock status inventory on hand is inaccurate, you may find you'll receive far less than what you need. It was, therefore, your store's responsibility to accurately update your stock status by October 9th to ensure correct distributions. If you haven't done so, please notify your RMM immediately. Preparing for Sight and Sound, however, involves much more than merely updating counts. The RMMs have put together a handy Sight and Sound countdown checklist that will take you through the preparation stages step by step. In addition, the merchandising division has compiled a department-by-department overview highlighting key items, opportunities, and merchandise presentation guidelines. We have also included product information that will make you more knowledgeable salespeople. All of this valuable information and more is included in the Fall 1987 Sight and Sound Sale Manual. To position Venture for growth this fall, it was necessary to relay the electronics department so that key classifications could be intensified and high shortage merchandise would be more strategically located. On October 16th, the new fall adjacencies were implemented along with new planograms. Some of the more significant changes include expanding TV games and cartridges to 12 feet plus an end cap of Nintendo. Now, in doing so, we're moving cartridges from behind the showcases out to the gondolas. During the peak Christmas selling season, it would have been impossible to maximize our cartridge business from behind the showcases, as customers will not wait for service. Although there are shortage implications in making this change, we feel the dramatic increase in sales will help defray the incremental shortage. As a result, our TV game business will pick up $2,800,000 in sales over last year from the time we do our relays on October 16th right through January. Another fall business that will be emphasized is keyboards. We'll carry 6 this fall, and they'll be merchandised on 8 feet of gondolas opposite TV games in most stores. Pre-recorded video is fast becoming a hot category at Venture. To help fuel this growth, we have increased the footage from 8 feet last spring to 12 feet this fall. In addition, all stores will merchandise public domain, cartoons, and 979 movies on 4x4 outpost tables, as well as in the electronics or record departments. Camcorders is an upscale category that's trending 44% over last year industry-wide. Consequently, it's a business that Venture should be in. It's also an extremely competitive, low-margin business. We therefore must be committed to the reduction of shortage. Along those lines, we've implemented the camcorder log. All camcorders must be logged in upon receipt, and when sold, you must write the transaction number and customer name next to the camcorder's serial number in the log. The Loss Prevention Department will also play an active role in protecting this high-ticket merchandise. Another way to put more profit in camcorders is to be sure to sell the carrying case and even videotape with every one you sell. A fixture that will sit on your showcase and effectively display 2 camcorders is being developed now and should be in your store shortly. Signing plays a vital role not only during promotions, but every day as well. After critiquing our 3x5 signing program, it was determined that the customer wasn't getting enough information to help them decide which item to buy. Our new informational insert should alleviate that problem by listing the key features in easy-to-read bullet copy. We even revamped the telephone banners in an effort to get as much wanted information as possible to our customers. Let's spend a few minutes reviewing the key items now for Sight and Sound. The Datron VCR will sell over 2,000 units at $189.99. This VHS video recorder features HQ circuitry for extra sharp pictures. Other features include a 14-day 4-event timer, a full-function wireless remote controller, and a 16-preset 105-channel cable-compatible tuner. The Nintendo game will generate 5,000 unit sales plus 20,000 cartridge sales. Put the two together and we're looking at over $880,000 in Department 365. The Emerson 4-head VCR will sell 1,500 units for $360,000 during Sight and Sound. It's consistently performed well and is perhaps the lowest priced 4-head VCR available anywhere. We lowered our price to $1.88 after a $1 rebate and expect to sell 70,000 Nippon videotapes. That's quite a return from only 1/16 of a page ad. The Canon SureShot is always just that. We're looking for 2,600 unit sales along with 1,650 lens kits. That's $375,000 off this perennial winner. The remote-controlled compact stereo from Lennox offers exceptional value at $99.99. We'll sell 1,000 during Sight and Sound. Sony invented the Walkman category, and the WMF41 AM/FM cassette model at $34.99 has been a top performer. 2,500 units will walk out of our stores during Sight and Sound. Cordless phones have been strong for the last 7 months, and our Cosmo cordless will sell almost $100,000 for Sight and Sound. For those customers looking to step themselves up, we offer the Panasonic cordless telephone at $69.99. We'll sell 1,000 of them during Sight and Sound. Sight and Sound is also a great week for pre-recorded music. Customers may choose their favorite compact disc and save on our entire stock of $13.99 to $15.99 titles. That's a $208,000 sales producer for Sight and Sound. Well, that rounds out the key item list and takes us up to the helicopter view, so to speak. That is, the sum of all the component parts. Last year, in week 3 of November, Sight and Sound produced $6,273,000 in sales. This year, we're projecting sales of $7,400,000. That's an 18% pickup, or $1,127,000 better than last year. That's an aggressive but achievable performance. To do it, it will take a total commitment from the entire organization. Don't think for 1 minute that your contribution doesn't matter. It does. Beating your store's plan is the real key to reaching that $7,400,000 week for the company. On behalf of the buyers, assistant buyers, regionals, and distributors, I want to thank you in advance for making this fall's Sight and Sound the biggest and best event we've ever had. With everyone pulling together as a team, there's little doubt that we can make it happen. Oh, by the way, one more thing. In an effort to educate, motivate, and entertain, I'd like you to kick back, relax, and enjoy the very first ever 1987 Venture Fall Sight and Sound Jeopardy. And then, let's get out there and make it happen. Thank you.
This is Venture's Fall 87 Sight and Sound Jeopardy! Now entering the studio are our first 3 expert contestants. Originally from Harrisburg, Illinois, now living in St. Louis, the assistant camera, typewriter, and calculator buyer, Chris Parker. Next, an alumni of our executive training program, the assistant book and record buyer, Susan Deal. Finally, rounding out our first 3 players and hailing from Kansas City, the assistant electronics buyer, Bruce Burstein. And here's the host of Venture's Sight and Sound Jeopardy! The divisional merchandise manager of the electronics world, Glenn Chase.
Good morning and welcome to the Fall 87 edition of Venture's Sight and Sound Jeopardy, the game where knowing the right question will pay off by guaranteeing your best sight and sound event ever. Sight and Sound, of course, is a pivotal week in mid-November that will give us the momentum we need to carry us right through Christmas. Some of the information hidden behind the numbers on our big board may very well help you achieve your store's plan, so please pay careful attention. We'll begin Sight and Sound Jeopardy with our 3 assistant buyers, followed by the all-important Sight and Sound Double Jeopardy round, where all the values double and our buyers step in to field the questions. Okay, let's not waste any more time and get right to the big board. Good luck, contestants, on this, the first round of Sight and Sound Jeopardy. Here are the first 5 categories: fun and games, key items, video, sight and sound checklist, and photography. Chris, you're standing in the #1 position, so let's begin with you.
Glenn, I'll try Sight and Sound checklist for 100, please.
And the answer is a report that must be accurate for good merchandise distributions or a Wall Street update. Susan.
What is stock status?
That's correct, Susan. Continue.
Glenn, I'll take Sight and Sound checklist for 200.
And the answer is our silent salesman or the act of writing one's name. Bruce.
What is signing?
That's exactly what signing is, Bruce, and it's important that we all remember how difficult, if not impossible, it is for our customers to quickly find what they're looking for if the merchandise is not properly signed. Let's make certain that all of our Sight and Sound signing is in place and stays in place from Sunday right through Saturday. Bruce, go ahead, still your turn.
Glenn, let's try a Sight and Sound checklist for 300.
And the answer is a replenishment procedure or how your toilet operates. Chris.
What is flush and fill?
That's correct, Chris. Go ahead.
Sight and Sound checklist for 400, Glenn.
The answer is achieved only when TVs are connected to your master antenna or an acrobatic catch. Bruce.
What is good reception?
That's right, Bruce, and as we all know, even if the price is right, the picture must be good before the customer buys the TV. That's why it's critical to get your TVs connected to the store master antenna, and don't wait until the last minute to do this because you may find your antenna's faulty and repairs can sometimes take a while. Bruce, still your turn.
Glenn, why don't we close out Sight and Sound checklist for 500?
And the answer is, preceded Bill Rose as Region 1 Electronics Regional Merchandise Manager. Susan.
Who is Gary Mewson?
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Anyone else? Chris.
Who is Harry Mewson?
No, I'm sorry, Chris, that's also incorrect. The answer I'm looking for is Jerry Mewson. Who is Jerry Mewson? Jerry, by the way, I believe is on the soft goods side of the store. Well, with Bruce leading with 600 points, Chris with 200, and Susan trailing with -400, let's pause for a few minutes and meet the assistant buying team from the electronics division. Chris, it says here you're a single guy, and before joining Venture, you worked in an office. Well, what kind of office was it?
Well, Glenn, it was rectangular.
I understand that one of your hobbies is computers. I would guess that would really come in handy being the assistant buyer in that area. Is it true that you can operate an IBM digitally integrated Phase 3 Exponential 7 scientific computer?
Yes, I can, Glenn.
Well, where'd you learn?
Well, my aunt has one.
Okay, let's move on to Susan. I understand that you joined Venture through our executive training program. What made you decide to move into buying as opposed to the store organization?
Well, Glenn, I'm a masochist.
Well, in that case, what do you hate most about buying?
Oh, probably rain checks.
Rain checks?
Well, I don't get beat up as much here in the general office as I did by the customers when I worked in the stores. Now, that was fun.
Okay, fine. Bruce, it says here you worked at Macy's in Kansas City before joining Venture. How would you compare department store buying to mass merchant buying?
Well, we have twice the advertising exposures at half the retails.
Well, that's true, and the fact that we are self-service oriented with lower overhead allows us to pass the savings right along to our customers. Thank you, contestants, and we'll be back with more Venture's Sight and Sound Jeopardy right after this message.
Hey, guess what I'm getting Mom for Christmas?
Oh, another Ferrari?
Better than that. The top-rated Magnavox compact disc player. In fact, everyone on my list is getting a Magnavox.
How about Sarah?
Portable CD,
Grandpa?
52-inch TV,
Nancy?
lightweight camcorder.
Oh, smart, Tom. Very smart.
Yeah, boy, are they going to be surprised.
Not anymore. You just told everybody they're getting a Magnavox for Christmas.
But they don't know when.
They don't know.
Welcome back to Venture Sight and Sound Jeopardy. Bruce, you had the last correct question, so please pick a category.
Glenn, let's try fun and games for 100.
And the answer is 15,500. Susan.
How many kids will play the Nintendo game in our stores during Sight and Sound?
That's cute, Susan, but incorrect. Chris.
How many cartridges will we sell during Sight and Sound?
That's right, go.
How about key items for 100?
And the answer is we'll generate over $325,000 in sales during Sight and Sound, or an expert marksman. Chris.
What is the Sure Shot?
Correct, Chris. You're now even. Pick another category, please.
Key items for 200, Glenn.
The answer is hundreds to choose from and 16,000 to be sold. Bruce.
What is film?
No, hundreds to choose from. Susan.
What are CDs?
That's correct. Still your turn.
Key items for 300, Glenn.
And the answer is the #1 unit producer for Sight and Sound. Bruce.
What is film?
I was told there'd be no gunplay. No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. You're down to 100. Susan.
What is Nippon videotape?
That's right, and we'll sell 80,000 of them during Sight and Sound. And by the way, Susan, you're now even. Continue, please.
Key items for 400, Glenn.
And the answer is they will make you laugh, cry, scream, or even lose weight. Bruce.
What is the merchandise statement?
Oh, no. That brings you down to -300. Anybody else? Chris.
What does the walk from the back parking lot make you do?
No, that's also incorrect. Susan, any guess? The answer is, the question we're looking for is, what is pre-recorded videos will make you laugh, cry, scream, or even lose weight? Susan, you had the last correct question, so please continue.
I'll take key items for 500, Glenn.
And the answer is priority #1, #2, and #3, Sight and Sound end caps. Chris.
What is Nintendo, the Amstrad word processor, and the Datron VCR?
Good answer, but wrong. Bruce.
What are Nintendo, this Lennox CT-72, and 1999 movies?
That's exactly right, and that brings you up to 200. Continue, please.
Glenn, I'll try photography.
And the answer is unique power zoom makes this camera a standout at $229.99. Chris.
The Pentax IQ Zoom?
In the form of a question, please.
What is the Pentax IQ Zoom?
Right, go ahead.
I'll try photography for 200.
And the answer is this add-on sale is needed to make the Canon Sure Shot more profitable. Chris.
What is the Calamar lens kit?
Correct, and by the way, there's virtually no profit in selling the highly competitive Sure Shot. We actually make more money on the lens kit, so let's not miss a sale. Chris, it's still your turn. Continue, please.
Glenn, let's try video for 100, please.
And the answer is, new category, this Emerson VCR has twice as many of these for sharper special effects, or the three of you and me. Bruce.
Glenn, what are 4 heads?
Correct, you're at 300 points. Please continue.
Glenn, I'll try video for 200.
The answer is, device used to change your channels on the TV. Chris.
What is your wife?
Well, that's true, but that's not exactly what I'm looking for. Chris, you're down 800 points. Susan?
What is the remote control?
Correct, go.
Video for 300, please.
And the answer is system to reduce shortage on camcorders. Chris?
What is not carrying them?
Well, that was true this spring, but we're talking about the fall. Bruce?
What is the camcorder log?
That's right, and we've just now reinstituted the camcorder log. Every camcorder will be entered into the log by serial number. When they're sold, the cashier must write the transaction number and customer name next to that serial number. By making this high-ticket merchandise more high-profile, we hope to reduce our shortage. Go ahead, Bruce, and by the way, our current score has Bruce in the lead with 600, followed by Susan with 200, and Chris is at the rear with -1100. Go ahead.
Glenn, why don't we try video for 400?
The answer is, industry-wide, this category shows the biggest increase over last year. Bruce?
What are VCRs?
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Chris?
What are camcorders?
That's right, for 400 points. And by the way, industry-wide, camcorders are up 44% year-to-date, and that's one of the reasons why we carry them now. Go ahead, Chris.
Video for 500.
And the answer is, this featured cover item with HQ circuitry represents $400,000 in sales for Sight and Sound. Susan.
What is the Datron VCR?
That's correct, and with great features like a 16-function wireless remote control, a 105-channel cable-ready tuner, a 14-day 4-event timer, and HQ circuitry, all for $189.99, it's no mystery why this VCR will do so well. Susan, go ahead, still your turn.
I'll have fun and games for 200, Glenn.
And the answer is, pioneered the TV game industry in the late 70s and early 80s, is now poised for a comeback in 87. Bruce.
Who is Atari?
Correct. Continue, please.
I'll stay with Fun and Games for 300.
And the answer is the new Intellivision, the new Atari 2600, and the new Atari 5200 Super System. Contestants, any answer, please. Name 3 old games. Bruce, continue, please.
Glenn, I'll stay with Fun and Games for 400, please.
And the answer is we're moved from behind the showcases to maximize our fall sales. Chris.
What are TV game cartridges?
That's correct. Please continue.
I'll take photography for 300, Glenn.
And the answer is the biggest growth area in batteries. Bruce.
What are alkalines?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Chris.
What are rechargeable batteries?
Rechargeable batteries is correct. That monkey means we've just concluded Sight and Sound Jeopardy, with Susan currently ahead with 700 points, followed by Bruce with 100, and Chris has just broken even. We'll take this opportunity to catch our breath and return with our buyers for our Sight and Sound Double Jeopardy round right after this.
Watch Zelda become a legend on your Nintendo Entertainment System.
Zelda! Up the rocks!
Which way to go?
Good times! Peanuts!
Levers!
Zelda! Zelda! Zelda!
The Legend of Zelda. A never-ending adventure new for your Nintendo Entertainment System.
Zelda!
Welcome back to Venture's Sight and Sound Jeopardy. We're now moving into the Double Jeopardy round, where all the question values double, and our buyers replace our assistants as contestants. Chris, why don't you introduce our next 3 contestants?
Glenn, before joining Venture, he worked at a fire hydrant factory, but had to quit because he couldn't park anywhere near the place. Representing the electronics department and hailing from Kansas City is the buyer Carl Schmidt. A native St. Louisan, he enjoys water skiing and weekends. The camera and telecommunication buyer, Brad Glazer. Finally, born in Indianapolis and joining Venture via Minneapolis, here's the record and book buyer, Cindy Wallace.
Thanks, Chris. You all know the rules, so let's begin Venture's Sight and Sound Double Jeopardy. Here are the 5 new categories: Sight and Sound Grab Bag, Music and Movies, Telecommunications, Potpourri, and Margin Opportunities. Carl, let's begin with you.
Glenn, let's start with Sight and Sound Grab Bag for 200, please.
The answer is we'll store and play back any 4 sampled sounds. Brad.
What is the Casio SK5 keyboard?
That's correct. Go ahead.
I'll try Sight and Sound Grab Bag for 400, Glenn.
And the answer is only 49 cents after a $1 rebate. Carl.
What is the ad price of the Energizer batteries?
That's correct, and we'll sell 40,000 of them during Sight and Sound. Go ahead, Carl.
I'll take music and movies for 200, please.
The answer is this fun video classification will be exploited this fall. Cindy.
What are cartoons?
That's correct. Continue.
Music and movies for 400, Glenn.
And the answer is bad. Brad.
What was the spring Sight and Sound sale?
That's not what I'm looking for. Cindy.
What is the title of Michael Jackson's hit album?
That's correct, and incidentally, Venture was first to promote Bad in all of our markets. Cindy, you're in the lead with 600. Please continue.
Music and movies for 600, Glenn.
The answer is the music configuration most adversely affected by CD. Carl.
What is LP?
Right, go ahead.
How about telecommunications for 200, please?
The answer is allows message retrieval from any touch-tone phone. Carl.
What is an answering machine?
I'm sorry, need more information. Brad.
What is a beeperless remote answering machine?
That's correct, we needed beeperless remote. Brad, you're now even, please continue.
I'll stay with telecommunications for 400, Glenn.
Answer is the 2 hottest classifications in telephones this fall. Brad.
What are cordless and telephone answering machines?
That's correct, and we're planning on 18% and 25% increases respectively. Go ahead, Brad.
I'd like margin opportunities for 200, Glenn.
Answer is, in the highly competitive TV department, it's our best gross margin % video item for Sight and Sound. Cindy.
What is the 5-inch black and white TV with radio?
That's correct. Incidentally, the gross margin % on that item is 22.4. Still your turn, Cindy.
I'll go with margin opportunities for 400, Glenn.
Answer is, value-priced item to be displayed on 4x4 tables, pallets, and high-rise. Cindy.
What is Pow Pow storage?
That gives you 1,200 points. Please continue.
Margin opportunities for 600, Glenn.
Answer is, the single largest gross margin dollar producer will generate 62,000 gross margin dollars in Sight and Sound. Brad.
What are Nintendo cartridges?
Right, you're at 1,000. Go ahead, Brad.
Let's try a Sight and Sound grab bag for 600.
Answer is, currently the hottest trending category in audio, or a male strolling. Carl.
What is a Walkman?
That's correct. Please continue.
Potpourri for 200.
And the answer is, two things that should never be late. Brad.
What are Sight and Sound ad goods and your girlfriend?
Yes, that is correct. Please continue.
I'll have potpourri for 400.
And the answer is, permits fast, accurate typing or a flower in a tire. Cindy.
What is a daisy wheel?
That's good for 200, Cindy. You're still up.
Potpourri for 600, Glenn.
And the answer is, the two most popular features on Better musical keyboards this fall. Cindy.
What are drum pads and digital sampling?
Correct. It's still your turn.
Music and movies for 800,
Answer
Glenn.
is, the biggest Disney release since Sleeping Beauty. Carl.
What is Lady and a Tramp?
That's correct, and many believe it'll be even bigger than Sleeping Beauty. Carl, you're tied for the lead with Cindy at 2,200 points. Please continue.
How about telecommunications for 600?
How about telecommunications for 600? The answer is, protects your privacy while using a cordless phone. Brad.
What are digital security codes?
That's correct. You've got 1,800. Please continue.
Let's try Sight and Sound grab bag for 800, please.
And the answer is, this fall's most popular feature on Better typewriters. Cindy.
What is spell checking?
Very good. That's worth 800 and brings you up to 3,000. Continue, please.
Sight and Sound grab bag for 1,000.
And the answer is Panasonic, Magnavox, Sharp, Sony, and Casio. Carl.
Who are 5 brand names we're expanding for the fall?
That's correct. You've got the lead in 3,200 points, Carl.
Potpourri for 800, please.
Answer is, sales in this department will triple the $5 million to this fall as we market fun. Brad.
What is Department 365 TV games?
That's correct, and coincidentally, TV games is our biggest growth opportunity this fall. Well, contestants, that bell signals the end of Sight and Sound Double Jeopardy. Carl is leading with 3,200, followed by Cindy with 3,000, and Brad has 2,600. Stay with us, because right around the corner is our final Jeopardy round, where our players may wager any or all of their winnings. The category is software, and that's coming up right after this.
What will the future bring from Nintendo? More hits like Super Mario Brothers. Arcade hits like Kung Fu. Nintendo has the most video game hits. Hogan's Alley, Duck Hunt, and more like baseball and Excite Bike. And you can play them only on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
Well, it all boils down to this. The category is software. Our contestants have made their wagers, so without any further ado, the final Jeopardy answer is, this entire classification is priced less than last year. Good luck, contestants. Time's up. The category, once again, is software, and the final Jeopardy answer is, this entire classification is priced less than last year. Carl, you've got $3,200. May I see your question, please? What are Nintendo? I think you mean Nintendo carts, but that is incorrect for $3,200. That breaks you at it even. Let's move on to Brad. Brad, you've got $2,600. Can I see your question, please? Also, what are Nintendo carts? No, that's incorrect. $2,600. That breaks you at it. 0-2. Moving on to Cindy, you've got $3,000. May I see your question, please? What is videotape is correct. You had 3,000, you wagered 3,000. Cindy is our new champion. Congratulations, Cindy.
Thank you.
Well, that concludes this episode of Venture's Sight and Sound Jeopardy. Congratulations to Cindy, and I hope that you've all not only enjoyed what you've seen, but have picked up some valuable information as well. Remember, you can make a difference in your store's success or failure, so let's all get out there and make it happen. Have a great Sight and Sound. Well, I hope you've all enjoyed our fall 1987 Sight and Sound video presentation. Please be sure to thoroughly review your Sight and Sound manuals and keep them in a convenient location in your department for use by all of your electronics associates. Business is tough, so we've got to get tougher. There's virtually no margin for error if we're going to achieve the $7,400,000 plan I told you about earlier. Now, I know that we can expect a 100% effort from the entire store organization. What we need, however, is 110%. To help you push a little bit harder for that extra yard, we'd like to formally recognize our overachievers. The best way to measure a superior performance is by comparing your store's electronics division sales for the third week of November to what you did last year in that same week. We will also recognize the largest electronics division percent to your store's total sales for that week. As a result, there will be 12 winners. That's 2 winners in each district. 1 winner for the greatest sales increase over last year, 1 winner for the greatest percent to store. Out of these 12 winners, there will be 2 grand prize winners. 1 for the greatest sales increase over last year for the entire company, and 1 for the greatest percent to store for the entire company. Now, in the event that the store with the greatest sales increase over last year also has the greatest percent to store, we'll award the greatest percent to store award to the next closest winner so that one store doesn't receive 2 awards. Now, the 10 runner-up stores, who are of course winners in our book, will receive Sight and Sound Award plaques. The 2 winning stores, in addition to receiving their championship plaques, will also receive a full-featured remote control HQ VCR with 14-day 6-event programmability. These 2 prizes will be awarded to the electronics department managers, who are really the key players in making it happen. If there are any questions that haven't been answered in this video presentation or in our Sight and Sound manuals, please get to your regional merchandise managers immediately. Thanks for your continued support, and have a great Sight and Sound.